What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam. It is the 4th of July, but for me, it's just another day. It's just another Friday. I'm not doing anything today. I would have. I'll be working. It's going to be another Friday. To me, it doesn't make any difference that it's a holiday. The only thing that I might do is to mix it up with it's a holiday. The only thing I might do, the only thing that I might do is, the Tour de France this year does not have a prologue time trial. Usually, what is the first day? The 5th, that's what I thought. So yeah, the Tour de France starts tomorrow. You can stream it. I could pay for a Peacock subscription for $8 and watch the Tour de France complete all the coverage. I probably won't watch it live because you'd have to be up at like 6 in the morning or earlier. Like, I forget, now it's like a 7-hour time gap between, when you're on the East Coast of the United States, I believe it's a 6-hour time gap between you and them. So if it starts at like, whatever, I don't know when the live coverage begins. What time is it? 11:10 in the morning? Like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning is, I think, when you would have to get up to watch it live. Something like that. I can't figure it out exactly, but you can watch the replay. But they just, you can watch it on demand each day if you want. And I'm not like, if there's nobody from America that has a chance, which that's pretty much always the case, why bother? Right? But it's just something to do for $8, and I'm not going to keep the subscription after the month is over. So I don't know. $8, something to do. That might be my holiday, but I won't even start watching it until tomorrow. But the prologue time trial is like a 10-mile. Usually it's a short time trial. And a time trial in cycling is when every cyclist is racing by themselves against the clock. You're not riding in a big pack or a big group of people. They're starting out 1 minute, 2 minutes apart off of a starting ramp with a clock. Each person's going to get an individual time for the course, and you're not allowed to draft off of each other. So like, even if you pass somebody who's slower than you, you can't just sit behind their back wheel and take the aerodynamic advantage or whatever that you would get from that. You have to ride by yourself. And that's when you see that they've got the aerodynamic handlebars, helmets, and they're usually on a completely different bicycle for those stages. Usually the Tour de France, modern day Tour de France, starts out with a short time trial on the first day to give everybody a rank, so that there's an established hierarchy of who's the fastest, blah, 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 all the way down. Because when it's a mass finish, when it starts out as a sprint race, in a sprint race, usually those are the scenes that you see where you've just got this massive ball of cyclists all going crazy trying to get to the finish line first, and then somebody shoves their handlebars in front of them, or somebody puts their arms up in the air for victory, and then somebody passes them and makes them look like an idiot because they went like that too soon. Those are sprint races, and everybody in that bunch, everybody in that group that crosses the finish line first all get the same time. They don't start gapping cyclists until there's something like a 5 to 10 second gap. So when a group of riders goes across the line and then there's a 10-second gap between the next cyclist, then that cyclist that crosses the line gets a gap in their time. So you might have 50 or 60 riders all in first place because they all have the same time, so they're not separated from each other at all. But then you get somebody that shows up near the back 30 seconds after the main group goes across the line, and they're 30 seconds behind on day one. So I don't know. And then, so there's basically four kinds of races in a Tour de France or in a Grand Tour. You have a sprint race, which is a bunch of cyclists. It's relatively flat. There will probably be a few hill climbs, but they won't be big. And the stage is kind of set up flat so that all the riders get to the finish line near the same time, and it ends up being who can sprint the fastest, who's got the biggest, fattest legs, and who can go the fastest in a sprint, all-out sprint on their bike. That's one kind of race. Another is a hill climb. It's a mountain stage where they go up a mountain, like the Alpe d'Huez, or they're either in the Pyrenees or in the Alps, and those are the stages that separate the leaders from the rest, because you can gain a lot of time. If you're a fast climber, you can gain all kinds of time on the other riders. Only the people who are the strongest for a long period of time going up a mountain, it spreads the whole thing out so that people are typically on a mountain stage like that. One or two people cross the finish line, then a couple minutes go by, another person crosses, a minute goes by, another person crosses, and it just kind of, it staggers out the results so that the cumulative results over the course of the month of July, those are the stages that spread out the field and give everybody a rank overall. And then the third and fourth are the time trials, where the riders are riding by themselves, and there's also a team time trial where you ride as a group with your team in like a train, a pace line where you've got 6 people all riding together, tight formation. Person at the front takes a few pedal strokes, drifts off, goes to the back of the line. So everybody takes a turn at the front of the line for, 10, 20 strokes of the pedals. And it's just an efficient machine, and you're going to be faster riding with a group of people than you will by yourself. And then sometimes they mix it up. Like one year that Lance Armstrong cheated to win in the Tour, they have a stage called the Alpe d'Huez, which is the most famous stage in the Tour de France. It's the steep mountain. It's one of the steep ones, but it's the most famous one, where the crowds of people get on both sides of the road and they box in the bicyclists, and the cyclists have to basically ride through a fucking mosh pit to get to the top, and the whole road's covered in graffiti, and it's a famous thing. One year they had a time trial. Instead of a group race up the Alpe d'Huez, they had a time trial up the Alpe d'Huez where every rider had to climb that mountain individually, staggered apart. And that was one of the years that Lance Armstrong cheated to win. But they always mix it up. Every Tour de France is going to be different. And that's also what makes it interesting, is because it's not the same thing year after year. They change it up all the time. They go into Spain. They'll have stages in Spain. They'll have stages in Luxembourg. All the countries that border France, they'll have a stage race that goes into that country for a day or two, just to kind of mix it up a little bit and, spread the love, if you will. The original Tour de France was basically just a race around the country. It was a lot different than it is now. It was more like the kind of races I like to do, where you just get on your fucking bike. The Crush the Commonwealth race that I used to like to do in Pennsylvania, You wake up at Friday, you leave at Friday at 4 in the morning. Whoever gets to the Liberty Bell wins. Whoever gets there first wins. The only rules are you have to follow the route of the race, the designated route, and you can't have people following you with a car and helping you out and carrying all your shit. So anything that you need to get there, you need to carry yourself. Or you can credit card your way across the state. If you need to sleep in a hotel, you can credit card your way across if you want to. But it's kind of, the people that do that race the fastest now, they can do it. There's people that do it in under 24 hours. They show up at Friday at 4 in the morning with a little satchel under their saddle of their time trial bike. And you're looking at just basically it's a basic tire and bicycle repair kit just to fix a flat tire, CO2 cartridges, like just the basic shit you would need to fix a flat tire, and that's about it. And they go straight through. They don't sleep, they don't stop. Stop to eat a meal, stop to rest. Sub 24 hours to go 400 miles. But anyway, I'm going to be right back. I got to deal with the laundry. I'm going to be going to the washing machine here about every 15-20 minutes for about 2 hours until all the laundry's done. And then once it's all hanging up on the lines here, I'm good to go. I don't have to do, the only thing I do then between then and the end of the day is just go around checking to see what's dry and what's not. And just anything that's dry will go in this bin behind me. And it may or may not get folded and put away. Anyway, I'll be right back. All right, so yeah, this washing machine it's a little bit of work going back and forth. It beats the snot out of going to the laundromat though, even with my ghetto clothesline and everything else that I've got to do. This is what you do if you don't have a real washing machine and dryer hookup. That would have been a nice thing for this place to have. But I don't want to go to the laundromat. That would be a nightmare. And I've got it down to where I go through a certain amount of clothes in a week, and it has to do, the most of the clothing has to do with the bicycling back and forth. So I have to get up, I have to fill the washing machine with a hose, run it for 15 minutes with the laundry detergent, then it stops, there's a drain, you go and flip a switch, it pumps all the water out, then you fill it back up, do a rinse cycle, run it for 15 minutes again, rinse it, drain it. Then you have to take the clothes and put them in a spin cycle thing. That takes 5 minutes per thing. Takes about 3. The spin cycle thing on the side is smaller than the big wash tub. So it takes about 3 times. So it's about 15 minutes to spin cycle everything. 5 minutes a piece. The nice thing about it though is the spin cycle thing, it spins so ridiculously fast that it seems like it's spinning at like 300 miles an hour. It's crazy. But your stuff comes out pretty damn clean. Or dry. I mean, it's just slightly damp. And it's going to be based on the material and the size of the clothing, how long it's going to take to dry. So a pair of cotton jeans are going to take the longest. But anything that's synthetic is pretty well dry when it comes out. It's not going to take much. And then it just depends on the humidity, and once I get a couple of fans in here, fans will help immensely with that. That'll cut the drying time down to like that'll cut the drying time in half, more than half probably. And aside from and fans will be useful in this place for other reasons as well, to get the air to circulate from this mini split. I just don't have fans yet. Add it to my fucking list of things I need to buy. But anyway, the washing machine, I'm pretty comfortable with it. I have a good sense of how to review, like how many stars and whatnot I'd give it. I'm gonna set up a new Amazon affiliate account. kind of funny thing happened this week. So I set up an Amazon affiliate account, and I was putting links in the video descriptions, and I needed to make 3 qualifying sales. So what happens is if you click a link that somebody puts to their Amazon, a product or whatever, if you click on that link, and then if you buy something on Amazon within the next 24 hours, 12 hours, there's a time limit. If you click on someone's link and then you buy anything on Amazon, it doesn't have to be the thing you clicked on, anything at all, the person whose link you clicked on gets a cut, gets a commission. I needed to make 3 sales in a span of it was either 90 days or 180 days. It may have been 180 days. I think it was 6 months. You have to make 3 sales in 6 months or they'll close your account. Well, I made 1 sale. I made 1 sale. 59 cents though. For one person clicking on a link and buying something on Amazon, I got 59 cents for 1 click. So it is lucrative if you have high volume and you can kick a lot of people to click those links. If I could get 100 people a day to click on that, if I could make $100 a month off of that, that's a grocery run. That's perfect. The problem is you need to make $100 before they'll pay you. You have to have $100 in your account before they pay you at the end of the month. It's just like Google ad revenue. Once you have $100, the next pay cycle they pay it out. However much you have, has to be at least $100. If you have $90, you got to wait another month. I've been generally getting about $100 a month off of Google, off of YouTube right now, with the traffic that I get right now. So just by you guys watching the videos, you're paying for me to get groceries. You're paying for a grocery trip every month, basically. I'm gonna look at it right now. I feel like it could be a little slower this month in July, but let me look. I can look right here. So it's looking like it's a little slower this month. 4 divided by 4. Looking like I'm only gonna make $30-$40 this month on YouTube. I don't know. It goes up and down. It's hard, but you're around a holiday. Weekends and holidays are always slow. Whatever. I don't count on it. I will be getting a YouTube payment in the middle of July here for June's revenue. But July might not. I have to change something in order to get more. I have to change something around to get more people to watch again. So whatever, it's just a game. But if I start doing product reviews, that could change things around a little bit. Like have a specific playlist and specific thumbnail images for product reviews. But anyway, I had 59 cents in my Amazon account. I got 1 out of the 3 qualifying sales. And at the end of 180 days, they're like, you're done. They close your account. You can't reopen it. There's no second chance, whatever. You can start a new one. You can start a brand new Amazon affiliate account. They don't care. But you're back to that. You have to get those 3 sales in 180 days. So they just don't want people to create these accounts and then never use them. So I just didn't create a new one because I didn't think I could generate enough. I figured it would just be the same thing again. So I think it was in the early April, they put the kibosh. They're like, you're done, closed. Your channel's done, or your affiliate account's over with. So all those links in my previous videos that are still sitting there, they're useless now. But I had 59 cents in that account, and just like 4 or 5 days ago, I get an email from Amazon saying, we just deposited your 59 cents that you earned from us. So I'm like, woo, yeah, baby. 59 cents got dropped into my bank account. I'm rolling in it now. But it was like a reminder. It was just a subtle reminder to do what you want to do again, but do it different. So what I'm going to do is do a review on this washing machine. But before I do it, I'm going to set up the affiliate account, because I think the washing machine's a worthwhile buy. I think if you need something, if you're in a certain situation, I think it's a good product. And also, I'll just walk you through how I do it and how I use it, as ghetto as it is, and just kind of go from there. And I'll just start reviewing things, because I've got tons of stuff to review. And so I'll just have like product reviews, random stuff, and I'll just put a link to it. Whether it's a good product or a bad, I want to do reviews that are bad. I'll put a link to the product, but I won't recommend that you buy it. I'll just recommend clicking the link, go look for yourself. Something else, like maybe I'll put in, if it's a bad product, I'll be like, the next one I would want to try would be this, this, and this, or something like that in the video descriptions, so that I'm not just sending you a link to a product that I think sucks. Like, I've got a water bottle that I put my coffee in to take to work every day. I hate this thing. I'm giving it 2 stars. It keeps my coffee cold. The end. That's what it does. That's the only thing I like about it. I'll get into it, but I'll do a review and I'll talk about why I think this thing sucks. And so I may just say, these are the ones I would like to try next if I were to spend money on this again. Or if this thing just falls apart, I'm not going to buy another one to replace it. I'll try a different brand. Maybe the company itself will change the design. I bought another bottle that's a plastic water bottle from the same company with the same style of lid and everything, but it's different. The design is different this time. And I'm wondering if they changed the design on the stainless steel ones too, but I don't know. The whole thing, there's so many reasons why I can't stand this thing. But I don't want to put up another Amazon affiliate account unless I think I can drive links to it and get 3 sales in 180 days. So $1.20, 60 cents times 3, $1.80. If I can make $2 in 6 months, it's worth it just to have my Amazon affiliate link permanent, to where they're not going to just close my account for inactivity. That would be my goal. And so it's just a way that people can help out without actually doing anything. If you're going to go to Amazon and buy something, click on the link, not today because it's not going to be there, but click on a link. That I'll have something in every video in the description where you could click on an Amazon link and go there. You buy whatever you want, and I'll just get like 50 cents, $1, whatever it is. It's a percentage of whatever the person buys. And there's just different things. Like, there's products that they pimp out that they want you to promote. And if you get people to go buy those products, you get a bigger cut. It's a game, but most of those products I'm not just going to do that for no reason. But I think product reviews is something I would like to do. I think it would be good. I can review a lot of things. And people who get their channels growing by doing product reviews, people just start giving you shit to review. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I know this washing machine's going to shut off in a minute, but aside from the Tour de France, I'm thinking about watching. I'm getting fat. I can tell by my belt. I have 2 of the same belts. They're just different thicknesses. tactical belts. Used to be for carrying a gun in a holster. Now they're just belts. But they have like a steel liner inside of them, so they never lose their shape, and that's why I like these belts. How much the Velcro, the fuzzy part and the hook part of the Velcro, how much they overlap tells me how fat I am. And when I got out of prison, those things were like overlapped quite a bit, to the point where the fuzzy part was past the hook parts, and I might have had to go buy a smaller belt. And then over time, it starts doing this, and then it kind of stopped. But over the last month or two, over the last couple of months, it's like this. Now the fuzzy part and the Velcro part don't meet. They're like right there. And I'm like, I'm seeing myself. I don't have a mirror, but I see reflections. I saw the video of myself working on my bicycles a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, dude. And I see my weight because I weigh myself all the time. 10 pounds of weight loss would make a huge difference in my waist size. And I can lose 10 pounds like that. But I've just been eating. I've been eating cheeseburgers and cheddar dogs and just stuff, like junk. Like, I haven't been eating healthy since I lived here. Salads, yes, but I'm not eating salads every day for every meal and whatnot. But I'm feeling it now. Like, I hit a weight today. I hit 225 pounds. And this is a fluctuation. It goes up and down, but my app is showing me I've kind of stuck at around 220. Because tomorrow I'm going to ride my bike 50 miles. I'll come back tomorrow and I'll be like 218, 219. Just at the end of the day tomorrow. And then Sunday I'll wake up probably 218, 219, somewhere in there. And then whether I go up and down, it's all depends on how much I eat. But I'm riding my bicycle 2 days a week now, and I'm eating as if I was riding my bicycle 4 or 5 days a week. And it's having an effect. Bad effect. But I'm just I've plateaued. Since I came to Houston, I go up, then I go down below that line, then I come back up, then I go back down, then I come back up, then I go back down, and I just don't get into that rhythm. The only time I was ever able to get into a real good rhythm of weight loss was in federal prison, and it really started to drop when they starved us. They were starving all the inmates. They were starving all of us as punishment because one inmate threw a fit in the chow hall. So they took commissary away for a month, and they were feeding us like the absolute bare minimum food that they could get away with feeding us, so that everybody's walking around starving all day. And I was also working out, going to spinning class and all this other shit. I lost 40 pounds in 4 months in federal prison. I came home at 200 pounds, 199 or something like that. When you saw me in my first video on YouTube, I was it was about a month, maybe 45 days after my release. And I was still thin because I was eating better. I was eating more food, but I wasn't eating a ton of food every day. Right now, today, I feel uncomfortable. Today, I'm like, holy shit, you went too far. So that'll keep me. I don't even know what I'm going to make for dinner later. It's probably not going to be good. I already have an idea. It's not going to be good. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing later, and it ain't going to work. It ain't going to help. But after the fact, like tomorrow, if I can be a good boy on Sunday, ride my bicycle again on Monday and be a good boy Tuesday, etc. If I can just make a small change. I'm just hungry. Like, wow, my appetite is out of control right now. And I'm not biking as much, about 100 miles a week instead of 200 miles a week. And my body's just breaking down. My body's like screaming at me that it wants to just take a week or two off. And I need like a reset. I need some sort of reset. So I don't know. I gotta go change the laundry. I'll be right back. What's going on? You see I got some clothes behind me. I'm kind of looking around to see if I can hang another paracord somewhere to make an extra line. I absolutely could. So that I don't have to bunch things up as much. I see it already where I could do it. But I don't really have that much more clothing. They dry faster when they're spread out and everything's, sometimes I have to bunch stuff up to fit more on the line. But today I've got a full load and then about a half of a load. And so it's really not that big of a deal. It'll all be dry before I go to bed tonight. But it kind of gets annoying to have to. But I've got a strategy now where I hang things and they don't really get in the way. And each time I do it, I get a little more efficient with it. I know what to hang where. The stuff that dries the slowest, I hang where it dries the fastest. There's a couple of spots that things dry really fast, and there's a couple of spots that they take a long time to dry, and it's all humidity. Like people have even suggested, get a fan. Yeah, I know. Believe me, it's on my list. Like, yeah, give me $3,000 and I'll go and buy everything I'm supposed to buy. Just looking at fans right now. A fan on a stand, an oscillating fan on a stand, $30. There's one that's $30, $50, $45. One of those fans that sits on the floor, the wind machine ones, the ones that really blast, $40. A desktop size one, $35. Wow, that's actually pretty fucking expensive for a tiny little fan. So yeah, $30 to $50, and I would probably need 2 fans. The best fans for this place are probably going to be the oscillating fans that are on a stand. I don't really like those overall, but for the place that I'm in, those are probably the best fans to get. Oh, this one's $50 and has a remote control. Do I really need a remote control for a fan? That's some lazy bullshit right there. Do you need a remote control for your fan? This basic one is $30. The most basic one on Amazon's like $30. That sounds about right. But just being up off the ground, oscillating, being able to move it around easy and put it where it needs to be. Those are the best fans right now. Bundle. $70 for a floor fan, one of those wind machine fans that sit on the floor, and an oscillating fan. $70. How much is the wind machine fan by itself? Is that even a good deal? The same wind machine fan is like $40. So you'd save $10. $30 plus $40. Well, no, you're paying the same price. Same price. So I don't know. I'm gonna get a fan, a couple of fans, a box fan. I don't know. I also need a fan that's gonna it doesn't have to fit in the windows, but here in the kitchen, the 2 fans on a stand would be perfect probably, because I'm gonna re-season a cast iron pan but I'm waiting for the fall when the weather is a little cooler. I have a pan, and I'm just going to use the pan I have until then. I don't need two, but I want to fix my other pan that needs to be completely re-seasoned. And when I do the initial coat of bacon grease and put it in the oven at 400 degrees, it just pours out smoke like crazy. And so I need to have the windows open and fans blowing so that all the smoke can get out of here. Maybe even open the front door and just let all the smoke leave. It'll probably make like other people that live here go, what the fuck is he doing over there? Like, it'll probably have that effect. But it works great. I'll show you how it's done. But how tall is that? That's probably like a desk fan. Yeah, that's a tiny little fan. So I see I see some fans, and some of them are really expensive, and the basic bitch fan is like 30 bucks. And that's probably the one. I don't see a reason to get. The only other one I could see maybe getting is that one that sits on the floor, because those things crank out. Those things can crank out they're more powerful than the ones on the stand. So maybe that bundle where you get both, but it really don't even need the bundle, because the bundle is the same price as the bundle is the same price as buying the two individually. So I don't even see why. I'm just gonna add these to my cart, but then I'll do save for later so that it's just a reminder. Oh yeah, here's things that you need for the house. Click on that, look at the bundle. Do they even have a... This one's kind of nice looking. One of these. All right, I got some fans bookmarked and save for later. If I made a list of everything that I want or need to get for this house, it's fucking ridiculous, the amount of money. So it's just whittle away at it. It's nice to keep lists. One of the things that so back in the day, like, if you ever, people that have like spending addictions, shopping addictions, you ever watch that show Hoarders? People just go and buy shit just to get out of the house. I had a girlfriend a long time ago who her and her mom would go shopping like every weekend together. And they would just buy the dumbest shit. They would buy so much dumb shit. It would blow your fucking mind. And most of the dumb shit would end up in this loft above their garage, and this fucking thing would just be full of fucking dumb shit. Decorations for holidays, like, oh, we gotta decorate for Easter, and just like all this ridiculous shit, or decorate for Halloween or whatever, that kind of stuff, or just dumb shit. Just to go out on Saturday and spend money and have something to do. So if you know anybody like that, or, I had that. I went through a period kind of like that in my life. Now I'm a guy, so, we're not as prone to that kind of shit. But guys can, you go out and you're like, oh, I'm going to go out and spend money. When we were in college, we'd go to the mall. Because we weren't old enough to go to all the bars. And I say all the bars because some of the bars would let us in. Some of the bars would let 13-year-old girls come and drink. So just keep that in mind. But when we were like 18, 19 years old, we'd go to the mall, and I'd come back with some dumb shit. I still have some of the dumb shit. I've got a couple of incense holders that were really expensive but cool. Somehow I still own them and have them to this day. But these were like the kind of dumb things that you would go and do when you were in college and that kind of stuff. So I learned at one point in time, keep a list of everything that you either need or want for your house or for your space, or I've got a list of things I need or want to do to my bicycles. I've got a list of things for the house. I've got a list of things for the kitchen. I've got furniture, bed, different things. I got a list. And so if you feel like you got to go something to do becomes, how do I get the best deal on the things that I need or want? Start with the things that you need. And if it's not like an immediate thing where I've got to do this tomorrow, like when I saw the roaches, I'm like, got to do it now. I'm not waiting another day. But when it comes to like the kitchen stuff, it's like, okay, I can put that off until I get a good deal. And now I'm like going on Facebook Marketplace and I see people listing, here's a whole bundle of kitchen stuff for $10. Come and get it. And I'm like, okay, that's probably what I should do. I tried to do it last week, but the woman, I think a lot of the ads on Facebook Marketplace are very fucking scammy. So you got to be careful about that too. Or a lot of people, I feel like Facebook Marketplace is full of flaky people. For example, I need a keyboard for my Microsoft Surface tablet. And this woman has this keyboard listed on Facebook Marketplace. It's a brand new Microsoft type cover for a Surface tablet. She's got it listed for $40. These things are $150 everywhere you go. I've been trying to meet up with this chick for fucking months. And I just saw that the ad is still up. And I reached out to her the other day with a brand new message saying, hey, I'm just wondering if this is still available, blah, blah, blah. I can meet. We're just going back and forth. I'm like, I will be in your neighborhood on this day and this day. If you want to meet me, it would even be more convenient. You can meet me in the parking lot at Target, right down the street, if you want to be, in a safe public location or whatever. I'll buy it. So I'm not going to pay $150 to fix my Surface tablet that I only really need to use my Surface tablet to test websites that I build in Windows browsers. Chrome, Microsoft, whatever the fuck it's called now, Edge, the Edge browser, the Firefox, and all the different Windows browsers. And there may be a couple of other things to do with that Surface tablet, but I never used it much before, so it's not a huge priority for me now. But people are flaky, way flakier than Craigslist. At least Craigslist in Pittsburgh. I'm trying, got to compare apples to apples here. I don't know what Craigslist is like here in Houston overall because I really haven't used it much. In fact, now that I'm just clicking on the link to see if that dude has Craigslist won't let him relist that tool shed tiny house that I lived in. They either won't let him relist it or he found somebody to rent it and he just never put the ad back up. Oh well, I'll keep checking from time to time. Probably more in the next week or so, and then I'll just forget. The other thing, so the garage apartment that I wanted to move into, I have that bookmarked in Facebook Marketplace, and if I go under the saved ads, and I just start scrolling through, what do I find? I see that the ad is still available, both of them. The garage apartment that I wanted so bad is still not rented out. That was the beginning of April that I looked at that place. let's say the middle of April, and maybe it was the beginning of May. Maybe it was sometime in May. But all I know is that by the middle of May, I was still trying to get this guy to let me move into this place and take my money. I was like, here, take my money. Let me move. And he just kept jerking me around, and I got to a limit. I said, by this day, if he's still jerking me around, I'm done. I'm not going to deal with him anymore. I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to text him. It's over. Shit's still listed. He could have had that shit rented by the end of May. Money in hand. Here it's July 4th and it's still not rented out. Imagine how many people this guy has been jerking around. This guy's been jerking around people for 3 months on this fucking apartment. And if he had as many people coming to look at this place as he told me he's had come to look at the place, because he made it sound like he had 10 to 15 people looking at it over the 2 weeks I was trying to get him to let me move in. And I finally just said, forget about it. So imagine, what if he's had like 50 people look at this place and they all want to move in, and he just goes, nah, I'm going to wait. And I've got a couple other people that want to look at it. And I've got somebody else who wants to come look at it. Imagine what the fuck I'd be going through right now if I had moved into that place. That guy would be a nightmare as a landlord. I'm looking at the picture right now, and it's like, you're 20 feet. Your front door to your apartment is 20 feet or less from the front door of his house, with a covered awning connecting the two buildings together. And it's it's a beautiful place. Beautiful. It's really nice. It makes this place look crummy in certain ways. But, it was really nice. Really nice. And I wanted it. I was like, yes, I will do it. I'm glad I didn't. It was definitely more money. Would have made life a lot more difficult. I just think I ended up where I was supposed to end up when it's all said and done. I have some problems here, as you would expect. Any place you're going to live is going to not be perfect. But I feel like the problems in my life would be worse if I had moved in there. I just feel it. I feel like that place would have been a bad situation after I move in. I can look back in my past and think about the time that the landlord lived right across the street. He bought this house that was across the street from his house so that he could improve it and improve the value of his own home by making the house next door look better. It was just an investment. He wanted to rent it out to a point and then eventually sell it and just pocket the money difference. And he probably bought the house for a lot less than he sold it for. It was probably a really smart move. And but him being across the street was problematic at times, because he really wasn't that bad. He was a good guy, and I had really relatively very few problems. Very, very few problems. But there were certain times where you just didn't want to live next door to your fucking landlord. Like having a little bit of... Now, the landlord here, he's here all the time. Not all the time, but they're working on constructing another one of these small homes. It's looking pretty nice. I really haven't... I check it. I haven't looked inside, but it looks like they're doing some serious work on it, and it looks like it's going to turn out pretty nice. I saw some things. I was like, yeah, it looks pretty decent. I wouldn't be surprised if they build a couple more while I'm here and just fill this whole property up with these tiny homes. It's an investment. And But I feel like um, I don't know. I just think it's funny that this guy with that garage apartment, it was beautiful. It was really nice, but it's still listed July 4th. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember when I went and looked at it, to be honest. I could look in my text messages and probably find it, but I'm thinking it was sometime in April. And then I was trying to get the guy. It was either sometime late in April or the beginning of May. There's I think it was in April because I think it was in April only because I remember looking at other places that were definitely in April. But it probably was the beginning of May, now that I think about it. But anyway, I looked at it in the first week of May. Probably May 3rd or 4th, somewhere in that range. And here it's July 4th and he still hasn't rented it out to anybody. And according to him, he's probably had 50 people come and look at this place in 2 months and he just won't let anybody rent it. And I'm just like, I don't know, what are you waiting for? Like, you're waiting for... I think I know what he's waiting for. To be honest, he's looking for a tenant that no habla inglés. But I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, like, there's all kinds of kitchen stuff. There's all kinds of deals to be found. And if you have a list of things that you're looking for, then when you get that bug to go shopping, which I don't get that bug. It's more like when I get paid, I go and I start crossing things off my list. And I look at the list and I say, okay, what can I do now? What's the most important thing on the list? And then what else can I do? And then just stop. And this is it for this pay cycle. Same thing when I go grocery shopping. I have a grocery list that I almost never fill because I try to spend $100 when I go grocery shopping. I don't know why that's always been like my budget, even before I was arrested. I go to the grocery store, I don't want to spend more than $100. I almost never have a grocery bill above $150. And it's only because I have my list and I start out, I'm like, this is the stuff I have to get, this is the stuff I want to get. It sort of ends up being usually the stuff I have to get fits in the budget, and then there's money left over for the stuff I want to get, and then I get to the point where I'm like, okay, that's enough for now. So the stuff that I want to get got a little smaller, move it to the next grocery trip. Maybe the list of stuff that I need to get is smaller next week, and I can get more of the stuff I want to get versus I need to get. Over the last month or two, it's been the stuff I need to get keeps getting bigger because I've been going grocery shopping once every 2 weeks instead of every week. And so that's kind of messing with me. And it's making me run out of things that I normally wouldn't run out of every single time I go shopping. But whatever, it is what it is. It's gotta eat, gotta wipe your ass, you gotta clean things, you need some paper towels, you gotta do what you gotta do. But right now I gotta go and do the laundry. All right, so I'm back again, got the laundry, got the last rinse cycle going on. It's like about 15 more minutes there. So yeah, I saw myself in the video as I walked past the camera. I'm like, damn, you're fat. It goes back and forth. But right now, I've reached the top. Like, I can't get any fatter. So I think one thing I have to do again is get nuts, peanuts, and snacks like that. Because if I just eat a bowl of peanuts sometime in the morning, midday, things like that, I don't get hungry throughout by the end of the day. My biggest problem right now is when I'm home, I'm not really eating breakfast and anything during the day, and then around 6 o'clock I'm starving and I eat a ton of food. And so if I would just eat something in the morning, but I have eggs, I have bacon, but like I don't have time in the morning. I only have time to cook dinner. Everything else has to be like ready to eat or I'm not doing it. And so I don't know, I just gotta make some changes, that's all. And I can reverse this. Part of me wants to join a gym and get a personal trainer, but I mean, that's money. But a personal trainer, whenever there's somebody else involved, I'm always more motivated to do it. The cycling I'm motivated to do because it's how I get around. I don't have a choice. Any other exercise right now, I'm too tired and worn out. But if I had a commitment to meet somebody to do something, it could be a sports league, it could be a soccer game, it could be ultimate frisbee, it could be a personal trainer at a gym, it could be meeting a friend to go on a bike ride, it could be a bunch of different things. If there's somebody else involved, I'm way more likely to get up off my ass and do it. If it's just me going to the gym, me doing this workout, me doing a yoga work, no, I won't. I've known this for a long time. You just got to know yourself. So a gym would be nice because classes, I could join classes, spinning class, yoga class. Those would be the two that I'd be into, and you can meet people doing that, get to know people. Just like I want to go to church and see if I can meet some people and make friends. But yeah, I mean, this is all stuff on my list. The only reason I won't join a gym is because you can't cancel your membership. That's such a fucking issue with gyms. You join LA Fitness, 5 minutes, swipe your card, it's over, you're done, you're a member. You want to cancel, that's like 6 months of calling them. You got to send a certified letter to this address in California, and you got to do this, and you got to go into the gym, and you got to go, and you got to cancel it like 18 times before they finally let you cancel. Like, no, I'm not getting into that shit. All these hidden fees and bullshit. The government's actually trying to rein that kind of shit in. Canceling your gym membership should be as easy as canceling your Netflix subscription. You should be able to, if you can log into the website, that's what the government's trying to make a law for right now. To where if they make it so that you can log into a website, pay, and subscribe and join, then it has to be the same easy, it has to be just as easy to cancel. So if you can go to lafitness.com, enter your credit card, boom, now you've joined a gym. You need to be able to go back to that website, say cancel my membership, log in, cancel. Are you sure? Yes, it's over. It's canceled. Your subscription runs out at the whatever date that the term ends. That simple. Then I would be more likely to do it. I lived at the one thing about the tool shed is it was walking distance to the LA Fitness. It was right there, like not even a mile away. I could walk there, and they had the sauna, the hot tub, the swimming pool, all the amenities that make. I want to go there for the hot tub. I want to go sit in the hot tub, but since I'm at the gym, I may as well work out since I'm here. That's what I need. That's the kind of. I know those gyms cost more. I know. If I just go to a basic bitch gym like Planet Fitness and all you do is lift weights and run in a fucking treadmill and, you know, you're like a hamster in a cage running in a wheel for an hour, I'm not going to be motivated to go, and I'm just going to waste my money. If I go to a gym where they have a sauna and a hot steam room and a hot tub and a swimming pool and all those kinds of things, then I'm like, yes, I want to go to sit in the hot tub. But since I'm at the gym, I may as well work out for an hour before I sit in the hot tub. You know, that's what it does. That's the gym that'll motivate me to go. And then if I don't have a personal trainer, I can use Google personal trainer. Anything that I got going on with my crooked ass body, I can be like, okay, what do I do about this? Bob and Brad, the most famous physical therapists on the internet, or a million other physical therapists and trainers, will have a video about what to do. And then you can go to yoga class, which will pretty much fix anything with your crooked body. And then you can go to spinning class, which will make me a faster cyclist because it's different than just riding your bike. So I don't know, there's nothing close to me that's not going to be like a 5-mile ride on a bike now. So it's like, that's not even on my radar to join a gym right now. That's so far off my list. But in some ways, I feel like it would help. So I don't know. I'm just riding my bike more is probably, and going on hikes and walks would probably be, but if I riding my bike, that's pretty much what I got right now. And I don't like riding my bike unless I have to right now. Let's see. So I did have some stuff written down to talk about today as a topic of today's video. And that's back to Star Wars. I was watching a little bit more last night. Clone Wars, because the episodes are 20 minutes. I got 73 things out of the 419 crossed off. But it's because you can watch 3 or 4 in the time it takes to watch a movie. 20 minutes times 4, that's an hour and 20 minutes. You can cross off 4. So I'm not even through the first. I have this all in a Notion file, so with a little check box next to each one, so I can just check them off as I go through. But it is so something like I ran into another situation where they took an episode from season. I'm on like generally on season 3, but it went back to an episode in season 1, and then back to an episode in season 3. And it all fits together. And it was kind of funny because in season 1, in this episode of season 1, somebody dies. And then in season 3, that person they're not dead. And I never noticed this when I first watched this all the way through, because when I watched it with my son, we watched all the episodes in order of season 1, season 2, season 3, etc. And I kind of like flaked out and just didn't pay as much attention sometimes. But when you watch them in the chronological order, it's like, no shit. So this dude died in season 1, in an episode of season 1. But then in season 3, there's this 3-episode stretch where he's alive. And there's all this shit going on, and he's among the living, and it's like, wait a minute. So it really did, that episode in season 1 actually took place down here. And they jump around like that with the timeline in this thing. Like, they were kind of making it up as they went along. And it was kind of like a Quentin Tarantino movie, where the timeline just bounces around. And it causes you to not understand what the fuck's going on. It's kind of interesting in a way, because I didn't even know that this is kind of like, it's more interesting to me because of the fact that I'd never noticed this the first time I watched it through, how janky the timeline was on this series, until someone went and rearranged it all in the right order so that it's a linear progression. And I'm like, wow, it's just strange because it all fits. And now all this shit makes sense as you're watching it. And I think it's like, I don't know. There was another scene at the Monument Park where the only piece of land on the planet of Coruscant where you can still see the actual land is this rock sticking up in the middle of the park. And it was in another scene in the show. And I'm like, that's that park. But you would never know. If you watched this show back in the day and you watched all the movies and everything, and this is before Disney bought it, you would just be like, oh, it's a park. You wouldn't make the mental connection of this rock in this park with a railing around it. Like it's almost like it's like going to Niagara Falls and looking at the falls. You're not allowed to touch the rock. But you wouldn't know all these details about it if you didn't watch the series Andor, because there's a scene in the series of Andor where they're hanging out at this park and the guy is explaining to somebody that this is the only piece of land that's still visible on the whole planet of Coruscant. This is the peak of the highest mountain, and it's just a park now where you see this rock sticking up in the middle of the park. But it's the peak of the highest mountain on the planet. And it's like the whole planet's covered in a giant city, and we got this one spot where you can still see a piece of land, and it's like this precious thing, and it's a park. But it was explained in that show, and you would never know. And now I'm seeing it in this other show over and over again, and I'm like, damn, like it's things like that. You just notice things and see things different when you watch something. And it's not like I sit here and watch this. Watching Andor and getting to the end of Andor, that it just ended recently, that kind of triggered this whole because they've said that Disney's not going to make any more Star Wars shit for a while. They've got a movie coming out sometime at the end of 2026, May 2026. I don't even know. And I was like, now would be a good time to watch all of it in one shot, because there's all this stuff that I haven't watched for going back to years ago when my son was 5-6 years old. And now my son is like 15. And so it's like, I'm rewatching all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, I'm picking up on all these things I didn't know or notice before. So that's interesting. But then Star Wars is always reflecting on what's going on in our world today. It's honestly, I can't think of a better piece of fiction to describe what's actually happening in our world and how things really work in the world with this piece of fiction to explain it all so that you can understand it. But hold on a second, I gotta go do some laundry. All right, back. Got the laundry. Laundry's done. Drying takes a while. Fan. At least one fan. But 2 fans are what I want for this place. It would do 2 oscillating fans on a stand would probably be the best thing to get for this place. It would make a lot of difference. Curtains, different things. So I'm just being patient with all of it. I'm not in a hurry. It's too much shit. I mean, just getting curtains, and then I gotta install the curtain rods, hang the curtains. I'm gonna need an iron and an ironing board because the curtains are gonna be all wrinkled when I get them. So there's something else to look up. And and do I, as far as an iron goes, I can get, I get like one of them little compact ones, but you can get the best irons to get are the ones with the chrome plate on the bottom. But those are the ones that I like the most because they tend to not mess with your clothes as much. But here, here's an iron for $17, the basic bitch iron. And yeah, it doesn't have the chrome base, but looks like it's an iron. What do you need? Here's one for $50. Amazon Basics 10-inch steam iron. $17, $30, $40, $26. They don't show you the plate on the bottom in the main picture. That's the problem with these. The ones that are chrome are better. They just work better. But either way, can I get a compact iron? Like a travel iron. Mini travel steam iron. $23 though. If you want, do you want the cheap one or do you want, I don't know, like, I think I used to have this one here. There's so many damn irons. Travel iron, here's one. $20 travel iron. Something small would be nice for a little place like this. Because where am I gonna put the fucking thing? That one's kind of cool. It's got like a wire. It's a wireless iron, so you don't have to have it charges somehow. But that's kind of cool. Huh. Anyway, so I'm gonna bookmark this. One of these. That one. Which one? Compact size. But the compact ones are more than the regular ones. So, but that's kind of a $16. Yeah, you get what you get there. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. $20. I don't want that one. Maybe not. That might be the one. Well, just add that one, and please put the cheapest one in there too. All right, let's put those in, and then I need back. So I was talking about putting a rack of shelves on the back of the bathroom door, and now I'm thinking I might need to put an ironing board, or either one of those, or do you get one that mounts on a wall somewhere? I don't even know if I want that. Oh, here's a ironing board mount to mount an iron and your ironing board on your door. That might actually be the best way to go. But then you need an ironing board that'll fit on that mount. A full-size ironing board would be nice with a full-size iron. It's kind of a nice little solution there. Keeps it out of the way. Let's see here. I'm just gonna fill up a bunch of crap in my cart, and then compact ironing board, but it stands up off the floor, 33 inches tall. That one actually don't look too bad. What's that for? What's that? All right, I like that. Okay. Oh shit, that's like $60. I hate to do this while you're all on the video watching, but this is what I'm going through. This is like, I'm like, okay, I gotta get an ironing board. How do I do this? Like, how much do these things fucking cost? And it's like, because if I get curtains, I'm gonna need a damn ironing board. No doubt about it. And these things are looking, they're all fucking expensive. I don't see any ironing boards that aren't way more expensive than I thought they would be. Tabletop ironing board. I don't like those though. I like to be able to hang the clothes off. If I'm gonna have to get one, I'm gonna get one that's not junk, but even the ones that attach to the back of the door, there's no, wow, these things are expensive. More than I thought. So, I mean, I guess I'll just get a good one. Maybe one that's not totally ugly, that looks like something that would be in my grandma's house, but something that, doesn't look terrible. If it's going to be hanging out in the open in my bathroom. That one's actually not bad looking. That one's even better. The ones that look nice are obviously more. Yeah, it's like $50 for a fucking ironing board. Across the board. All right. Either way, I got that bookmarked. Save for later. Save for later. Save for later. Save it for later. For later. For later. So I'm going to need to get an ironing board and iron, a way to store the ironing board in the iron, and the curtain rods and the curtains. Unless I want to have wrinkled ass curtains, because they come folded in a pack and you're going to have to iron them before you hang them. This is all shit that a 50-year-old guy would have. But when you're starting from nothing, you got nothing. So it's everything. Imagine like if a tornado, if you're living in a trailer park and a tornado came through the park and the biggest piece that you could find left over is about that big. That's basically the same thing. And except in my case, the tornado all wore blue jackets and had FBI on the back of their blue windbreakers. But anyway, the topic I wanted to talk about today has probably been an hour's worth of video so far while I'm doing my laundry here, and then I'm gonna finish this video and I'm gonna go back to doing my thing. It's the 4th of July, but it's just it's just a regular day for me. This holiday means absolutely nothing to me today. I'll hear fireworks at some point after the sun goes down. I'm sure I'm gonna hear nothing but fireworks in the background, but I probably won't even look out the window and see them. I don't give a fuck about it. So I was watching some Star Wars last night, Clone Wars, and I already I talked about that for a minute. But Star Wars is like the best way to explain what's going on in our world, because there's always an example in Star Wars of some shit that's happening in our world. So there was an episode of Star Wars last night where the Galactic Senate is working on trying to pass a bill to allow them to borrow money from the banking clan to keep funding their war. Gee, where have you seen that before? Pretty much every fucking time we have a war. And so, number one, the question is, why can't the government just print money themselves? Why do we gotta borrow the money from a fucking bank and have them print the money and then charge us interest to borrow the money from them? And when you really get into how these banks work, the central banks, they don't have the money. They make the money. They print it. They create it out of thin air, out of nothing. And then they lend it to us, and then we have to pay it back with interest. And so, I could spend an hour talking about that. But they voted, so the separatists have their own Senate, and the Republic has its own Senate. And both the senators of the separatist movement and the senators of the Republic, they're getting sick and tired of this fucking war that never ends. And so they voted to pass bills to sue for peace and start having peace negotiations. So the separatists, it's kind of like the American Civil War. The separatists are a bunch of planets that decided to break away from the Republic and form their own entity. And the Republic is the fuck you can. You're part of the Republic, whether you like it or not. It's the same thing that happened during the Civil War. The southern states said, okay, the United States back in the day, that was like the European Union of today. Each state was supposed to be like a separate country, where we have a central government where we handle things together as a group, but that central government was not supposed to dictate what all the individual states are allowed to do and not allowed to do. And I'm not talking about slavery, I'm talking about taxation and shit like that. The Civil War was not about slavery, it was about independence from a federal government dictating what the people in every state were allowed to and not allowed to do. And the southern states had one way of doing things, and I'm not talking about slavery. Abraham Lincoln didn't even want to free the slaves. He's quoted as saying he didn't want to free the slaves. He freed the slaves at some point during the war to cripple the southern economy and to make it more difficult for them to win. That's a 3-hour video right there. Do you want to get into that, or you want me to keep moving on? So anyway, the separatists and the Republic, they both wanted peace, and they wanted to start negotiating with each other. So the banking clan, the bankers, orchestrated attacks against the Republic capital of Coruscant and wherever the separatist capital was. And they brought the war. They orchestrated attacks in both places to rile up the people, just like 9/11. Nobody wanted to go to war. Nobody wanted to go fight in the Middle East. So they blew up the Twin Towers, and now everybody wants to go to war. It's the same shit. That the banking clan did it because the banking clan is lending money to the Republic to create more clones for the clone army, and the banking clan is lending money to the separatists so that they can keep building droids for the droid army. And they're charging interest on both sides, and they're just pulling in all the fucking money from both directions. And so if the war stops, their money supply stops. So that's exactly how the world is run today. Every fucking time you see a war break out, there's a banker who started it, or a group of bankers, and you will find out that those bankers are funding both sides of the war and making all the fucking money off of it. That's fucking basic bitch war right there. So, once again, the Jedi, they're arrogant and they're fucking dumb. Count Dooku is the leader of the Separatist Senate. He's like the J.D. Vance of the Separatist Senate. And the Sith Lord, who is Count Dooku is the Sith Lord apprentice of Emperor Palpatine, who's not Emperor yet. He's the Chancellor of the Republic. So the leaders of both sides are in cahoots together. They meet daily. They are gaining power over the whole galaxy by orchestrating this war. Once again, along with the banksters who are making all the money off of it, they're continuing to pimp out this war, and they're trying to make a perpetual war that never ends because they're getting rich and powerful funding it, and they're making a ton of money off of this and gaining power and more control over their people because of it. So Senator Amidala, Anakin Skywalker's wife, tells Palpatine that her friend, who's in the Separatist Senate, who used to be a senator of the Republic before they broke away, was the one who put the motion through to have peace negotiations. But they all, everybody knows this because that's all public knowledge. But during the false flag attack that the Banksters and Palpatine and Dooku initiated on the Separatist people, that senator, just happened to be killed during the attack. So any senator that gets out of line They're bullying the senators. They're bullying the people in the government to vote for the war. Anybody who's against the war, they're getting the shit kicked out of them. They're getting killed. They're getting taken out. They're being threatened one way or another. It's kind of like this guy, John O'Neill. He was the head of counterterrorism in the FBI under Bill Clinton and George Bush. Under Bill Clinton, he wanted to go after Osama bin Laden and they wouldn't let him. They were just like, we're not going to let you. He's counterterrorism of the FBI, but he wanted to go. He's like, we got to do something about this. They wouldn't let him. George Bush becomes president. He's like, all right, now we got a Republican in there. Maybe we'll take this more seriously. And George Bush was like, no, fuck no, leave him alone. Because they needed this to happen. They needed 9/11 to happen. Because that's how they riled up the people to get the war that they wanted to get. And got the people dumb enough to pass that fucking Patriot. Remember the Patriot Act was only supposed to be this temporary thing where the government can spy on you. And, we just need to do this so we can win the war against the terrorists. It's 2025 and the Patriot Act is still in law. They didn't get rid of it. All because they orchestrated an attack on our own country to get their way. Just like they do it. I mean, this is a Star Wars plot. John O'Neill, head of the counterterrorism at the FBI, quit under George Bush early in the administration because they weren't letting him do his job. They were blocking him at every turn. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. So one of George Bush's cousins, Marvin, hires him to be the head of security at the World Trade Center. And guess what John O'Neill's first day on the job happened to be? September 11th, 2001, the dude shows up for work and dies in the fucking collapse of the World Trade Center on his first day of the job. So that pretty much shut that guy up. Anybody who's speaking out, the head of counterterrorism at the FBI starts speaking out about how he's being blocked at every turn by doing his job, and he quits, and they're like, oh, we got the perfect job for you, John. Come on over here. Boom, got him. And that's it. They shut his ass up. So the banksters to the Republic, they propose a 25% interest rate for the clone army to the Republic. They're going to give a loan to the Republic to create more clones at 25% interest. So right now the Republic has fucking ghetto credit. Like 25% loan, that's what you get. I'm surprised the fucking spaceships that the Republic are flying around, they probably had to buy them at a buy here, pay here car lot. Spaceship dealer. Because 25% interest, that's what you get on that's what I'm going to get if I go and buy a car with a car loan. I'm going to be paying 25% interest because nobody's going to give me a fucking loan unless I'm willing to take it up the ass like that and get like the worst ghetto credit. Here, we'll give you a 96-month loan on a $5,000 car, and by the time it's all said and done, you've only paid $300,000 in interest for your fucking 1995 Toyota Tercel. I mean, are they buying the fucking clones from Rent-A-Center? I mean, that's basically what they're doing if they're paying 25% interest to the banking clan to get their fucking clones at this point. When I lived in the fucking ghetto in Pittsburgh, I lived in East Pittsburgh, which was the street that I lived on was in the middle of all these neighborhoods. Friendship, East Liberty, Shady Side, and like two other fucking neighborhoods I can't even remember, but all the street signs had a different neighborhood because I was right in the middle of all that. Off of near Friendship and Baum Boulevard, if you know the city, you know what I'm talking about. Over in the East Liberty part, which is the ghetto part, Shady Side's the rich people, East Liberty's the ghetto. I lived right on the border between rich and fabulous and ghetto trash. Like, across the street, you're in the ghetto. This side of the street, you're in the wealthy, affluent neighborhood, some of the richest people in town. 1 block away from each other. And you know when you're on the wrong side of the street. One side of the street is mansions with with stained glass windows. The other side of the street has particle board windows and boarded up houses. You know where you're at. So on the East Liberty side of the tracks, there was a place. It was kind of like Rent-A-Center, but you could buy rims. You could buy spinning rims for your fucking your 1986 Cadillac at the fucking spinning rims place in the ghetto. It was like Rent-A-Rims or something like that. I don't know what the name of the place was, but it was Rent-A-Center to get rims for your car, and that's all they fucking sold. And that place was there for years. I'm like, there's no way this place can exist and be there for years if all the people in the ghetto aren't going there to get their fucking rims. But they're probably paying for a set of rims that would cost $1,500, $2,000 for a nice set of spinning rims that are, big dubs, big flashy dubs. They're probably paying $30,000 for a set of dubs by the time they're done with Rent-A-Center for the rim Rent-A-Center. I don't know what the fucking place was called. It might still be there to this day. I don't know. I could tell you exactly where it was. I could drive by and see. I bet the spinning rims place gives out better interest rates to people in the ghetto than the banking clan gave the Republic for the creation of more clones for the clone army. They passed laws in the Senate to deregulate the banks so the banks can do whatever the fuck they want. And then the banker was telling Senator Amidala when she was bitching him out for charging so much interest, he goes, well, if you don't want to take our offer, I just wanted to let you know that the separatists just took out a loan from us to create 1 million new droids. So they're funding both sides of the fucking war. And if you want to look at how this works in the real world, look up Rothschild family. Just go to Google and type in the Rothschild family funding wars. And you'll find all you need to know. I know 90% of you won't do it. You'll just call me a conspiracy theorist, tell me to shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. This is all public knowledge. You can look this up. It's in fucking encyclopedias, for fuck's sake. But no, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I could talk about it more, but do you want to watch an 8-hour video about this? So anyway, no, it was 3 million new battle droids that the separatists took out a loan for from the banking clan. Probably, who knows? Maybe they got 20% interest. I don't know. I don't know what the interest rates were for the separatists. They didn't put that out. But the bankers are funding both sides of the war, and then they just sit back and gather all the fucking money in interest payments to them. Another good example of it, Prescott Sheldon Bush. Look this up. Trading with the Enemy Act. George W. Bush's grandfather, George Herbert Walker Bush's father, was a senator during World War II, and he was also in charge of the Union Bank. Let me get the exact name. Union Banking Corporation he was in charge of. He was funding Adolf Hitler and giving loans to the Nazis to fund the war machine for them and making all kinds of money off of it. And he was charged, he was convicted under the Trading with the Enemy Act as being a war criminal helping the Nazis while we're trying to fight the Nazis. So George W. Bush, our president, and his father, who was president, had a father above them who was a United States senator who got rich funding Adolf Hitler and the Nazis while we were fighting them. Let that sink in for a fucking minute. The Bush family, the Bush crime family that was in charge of this country for fucking years. When Ronald Reagan became president, remember, George Bush was second in command. And 3 months into Ronald Reagan's presidency, they tried to kill him. Before that, George Herbert Walker Bush was the head of the CIA. He was in the CIA when they blew Kennedy's brains out, and there's good evidence to show that he was one of the main people involved with killing John Kennedy. So this goes back. But it goes back to the grandfather that got rich funding Adolf Hitler during World War II while we were trying to defeat the Nazis. The Bush family was lending them money and collecting all the interest and getting rich off of it while we were trying to fight the war. So there's just another real world example of what I'm talking about that's happening in these Star Wars episodes that happens in the real world. Look this up. I know you won't. Most of you are just a bunch of ignorant tools and you don't give a fuck and you're just going to call me a conspiracy theorist. You're not going to go to Google and look any of this shit up. But I'm telling you, that's what it is. Keep calling me a fucking conspiracy theorist. I'm the one who can come at you with the facts and tell you where to go find the information for yourself. And then you just stick your finger in your ears and, no, you conspiracy theory. I'm not going to look any of this up myself because you're wrong. Well, do you have any evidence to back up that I'm wrong? Can you back up your opinion that I'm wrong with any facts or any actual information? No, you can't. You're just fucking ignorant. And I'm not, obviously the super fans of this channel, I'm not talking about you, of course. But no, I mean, I get this all the time. I've been dealing with this shit. I don't know, I woke up in 1996 when somebody that I knew died on TWA Flight 800, and I've been hip to what's going on since the mid-90s, late mid-90s, middle to the end 90s. And I've been dealing with this fucking attitude from people calling me a fucking conspiracy theorist when I'm just sharing facts that you can look up for yourself for the last 30 fucking years. So it's not new, and I don't give a fuck. I mean, you can all go to the fucking camps when they start rounding you up. I don't give a fuck. Have fun. Have fun. Enjoy it. But, we're talking about how the Republic and the Galactic Republic and the Separatists are taking out loans from the banking clan to fund the war. And it just, think about it in terms of our world today. Every country on the planet has a national debt. You can go to of the U.S. National debt of the U.S. Let's just see, national debt of every country. Central government debt. List of countries by external debt. You can go to holy fuck. You can go to Wikipedia and see list of countries by external debt. Every single country on earth has a national debt. Every single country on earth has a massive national debt. Every country has a national debt. So it's not one country owes another country some money and then this country owes it's not like they all. Every single country on earth has a national debt, and it's huge. It's unable to be repaid. If every single country on the face of the earth has a national debt, who the fuck do we owe all this money to? Who the fuck are we in debt to? Who the fuck is holding the note on these loans? Well, the answer is people like the Rothschild family, the central banking cartels, and all, the banking clan. The banking clan holds the note on every single country's national debt. Every single country on earth owes the bankers money. Instead of making their own money and printing their own money and currency, spreading it throughout the country to circulate, to create the means of exchange, they have bankers lend it to them who then charge them interest, and the money to pay back the interest doesn't even exist unless they create more money to put into the system to pay back the interest, at which point you owe the interest on the money that they just gave you to pay the interest. So it's a way for these banksters to use fake money, monopoly money, to gather up all the assets and all the tangible property on the planet for themselves, while they leave you and me with nothing in return. And it's a scam. It's nothing but a fucking scam. And so in the Galactic Republic, like I said earlier too, the senators, the galactic senators, are getting death threats. Some of them are being killed. Anybody who's going to vote against taking a loan out from the banking clan is a target for assassination, intimidation, and, you know, they probably got some galactic Jeffrey Epstein tapes. They probably got some little Twi'lek kids that got raped on a planet somewhere, Jeffrey Epstein's planet. And that's why, I mean, that's why in this day and age, that's why nobody's getting arrested for fucking the kids on Jeffrey Epstein Island. That's why did he do it? Turns out he didn't do it, did he? I mean, you know, he just walked away from a life sentence in prison, and by the time he comes back to his sentencing date in court, he's probably going to get time served or close to it. Because he basically got found not guilty on all the serious charges, and he's found guilty of 2 counts of driving around prostitutes. I mean, he's probably either going to he's facing a maximum of 10 years, or 10 years per count, so technically he could get 20, but typically the judges on multiple counts like that are going to go concurrent, so whatever his sentence is for each count that he was found guilty of will be concurrent. So he'll end up with a 2-year sentence, maybe get time served, or maybe have to spend 6 months at Club Fed playing pickleball, and then he gets to go home. Why? You thought Diddy did it, but Diddy didn't do it, did he? I mean, but you know, they need these people. They need Diddy, they need Jeffrey Epstein, they need all these people so they can keep blackmailing politicians. They, you know, whenever a law needs to get passed or not get passed, they can go up to a senator and say, hey, you know, Senator so-and-so, hey, remember that time you fucked Britney Spears on Jeffrey Epstein's island when she was 9 years old? Do you need us to play the tape for you again? I know you're denying it, but do you need us to show you the video again? So you're going to have to vote no on that bill, or, you know, you don't want that video of you banging Britney Spears when she was 9 years old on Jeffrey Epstein Island showing up on CNN, do you? I don't think so. You're going to have to vote the way we told you to vote. And that's why none of these people are going to fucking prison, because somebody owns them. Everybody who went and fucked the kids on Jeffrey Epstein Island's got a videotape in a vault waiting to come out, and now they can control all these people and tell them what to vote for and what not to vote for and what to do and what not to do. Or you wouldn't want your family to see that tape of what you did to poor little Britney on Epstein Island back when she was 9 years old. And is it really any wonder that all these Hollywood kids that get fucking trafficked when they're kids in exchange for that fame and money that they get handed in exchange, you know? Is it any wonder that Britney Spears is batshit crazy now, along with all these other Mickey Mouse Club kids? Now that they're all grown up, they just go batshit crazy, don't they? And then the ones that speak out and start talking about how they were treated when they were little kids, they're no longer among the living, are they? Michael Jackson started talking about it. He's gone. Prince started talking about it. He's gone. The lead singer of Linkin Park, he's gone, and they replaced him with a fucking girl. They replaced the lead singer of his band with a girl. Like, they don't give a fuck. If you speak out about it, you're done. They'll probably come and get me just for telling you about it at some point. Either that, or they'll keep shadow banning me on YouTube so I never get more than 1,200 followers. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, one of the Yoda fortune cookies at the beginning of the Clone Wars episode, one of the ones I watched last night, said in the beginning of the show, searching for the truth is easy, accepting the truth is hard. And isn't that what I just got done explaining to all of you? The truth is right there. It's right in front of your face. These people in charge have gotten so fucking arrogant, they don't even try to hide what they're doing anymore, because they know that most of you out there watching this, or most of you in general, the American public, they know that the only 2 things you give a fuck about are beer and football. You remember when they locked everybody down and they made up this whole fucking scam about this bullshit disease, and they told you got to stay in your homes and you can't associate with anybody, and you got to follow the arrows when you go to the fucking grocery store, and you can't be out on the roads after 6 o'clock because that's when the virus comes out, and all this other fucking dumb ass bullshit. They got rid of football. They got rid of sports. They were playing the NHL playoffs in an empty arena with cardboard cutouts of people in the stands to make it look like there was somebody watching the game, didn't they? But did they take away the alcohol? No, they did not. The liquor store was open. You could go get the beer. They took away football, but they didn't take away the beer. And they really didn't take away football completely. They still let you watch it in an empty arena. They let you watch hockey in an empty arena. If they had taken away the beer and the football, there would have been a revolution overnight. The government would have been overthrown in 2 days. 2 fucking days, the United States government would have been overthrown. Everybody in it would have been lynched, executed. We would have a completely new government, probably some 2-bit ass clown dictatorship that's even worse than what we have now. But the United States would have been overthrown in 2 days if they took away the beer and the football. That's why they had to choose. What do we take away? Do we take away the beer or do we take away the football? Which one do we take away? We can't take them both. One or the other. Okay, liquor stores can stay open. Grocery stores, no. You know what I mean? Like, restaurants, nope, you're going out of business. Liquor store, you're good to go. You're good to go. You get to stay in business. Hair salon, no. Let them cut their own fucking hair. Let the peasants cut their own fucking hair. Liquor store, you got to stay open. You can't close. You're open 24 hours still. Your job is safe. So, the truth is right in front of your fucking face. All the shit that I've told you that you can go look up for yourself, you can go look up for yourself. You Google. It's still available on fucking Google. That's how much they don't give a fuck about hiding it from you. Some things are being censored and are harder to find now than they used to be. But it's still there. It takes minimal effort. Searching for the truth is easy. Searching for the truth is easy. Accepting the truth is hard. That's why people get so bent out of shape when I say you don't own your fucking house. How do you know you don't own your house? Because you have to pay somebody for it every year. You have to pay property tax to the government every fucking year. And believe me, when you don't make that bill, if you don't make that rent payment, who comes to kick you out of your fucking house? The government. When's the last time you owned something that you still had to keep paying somebody for? Here, I have this phone. Here, I have this coffee mug. I have a computer in front of me. They're my shit. This is my mug. This right here is my computer. This is my phone that I'm looking at. I don't have to pay anybody for that shit. I bought it. I own it. I have it. For the phone, I got to pay somebody to be able to make calls and stuff for the service connected to it. But if I disconnect the service, I still own the phone. I have another phone sitting over here. Look at this. I've got a bicycle speaker. This is all charged up. I put it on my bike. I get to listen to music tomorrow on my way into work. I own that shit. I don't have to pay somebody for it. I don't have to go to Rent-A-Center and make my fucking speaker payment. My $3,000 bicycle speaker that would have cost $100 at Amazon. I don't have to I own that shit. If you owned your fucking house, why are you still paying somebody to keep it year after year after year? This one dude, he likes to bust my balls. His name's Dave. You know who you are. You know I'm talking about. And you're not the only one I'm talking about, by the way. Not even close. But he came at me, he's like, I only pay $5,000 a year for my property tax. You pay $5,000 a year to rent your fucking house from the government. That adds up to $416 a month. So yeah, you got a nice house. And that's a pretty low, I'm paying $950 a month to live in this fucking thing. You're paying $416 to live in your thing. But out of the $950 that I pay, the owner of this is paying a couple $100 a month for his rent payment because he rents this from the government. He rents this place from the government, and then I rent it from him. So then, therefore, my rent payment is higher than his because he still has to make a profit at the end of the day. But you don't own your shit. You don't own anything that they can come and take away from you if you don't pay them. You don't own your fucking vehicle when you take out a loan from the bank until you pay the bank and you have the once you have the title in your hand, then you own that car. In some states, they make you pay a property tax on your car. West Virginia is one of them. I don't know what other states do, but if you own a car, you don't own your car. In West Virginia, if you live in West Virginia, you don't own a car. You can never own a car because you have to pay West Virginia every year. You have to pay them just to have your car. And that's not your license and registration tags. That's not your fucking driver's license fees. That's not your gasoline tax, blah, blah, blah. That is just a separate fee that you pay to own a car. Whatever property you own, you have to pay them for it every year. Well, if you have to pay them for it, you don't own it. And when I say this, it's common sense. Everybody should be able to say, yeah, you're right. I don't really own it. I mean, it's better than renting. I'm not going to fucking argue with anybody that having a $450 a month rent payment to the government for a beautiful home that you built yourself and that you get to do some of what you want in it. I think I just saw Dave talking in a video about how he built some stairs and he had to deal with the government once again. Once again. You don't even get to do what you want with your own property. What if I want to make a modification to this place? What do I have to do? I have to go get permission from my landlord in order to do something that's going to be like a modification to the house. If I need to start drilling holes and building something or whatever the fuck I want to do, paint the walls whatever color I want, I got to ask him before I go and do it. I need permission. When you want to build a set of stairs, concrete steps, stone steps in your backyard, and you got to go down to City Hall and get a permission slip for it, you're going to get permission from your landlord in order to be able to do the thing that you want to do to the property that you rent from them. Like, figure it out. I'm not arguing, but people get so fucking mad. I have seen people get so fucking mad when I tell them that they'll pick up some shit and throw it. They'll pick up a fucking pop can and be, fuck you, motherfucker, and throw it at me. I've had it happen. People have taken fucking pop cans and crushed them up and be like, fuck you, you fucking asshole, and thrown them at me across from the fucking campfire. Getting all fucking mad that I say you don't own your fucking house because you pay somebody rent every month. Why are you that fucking mad at me for pointing that out, that you got so fucking mad that you crumpled up a pop can or a beer can or a beer bottle and fucking threw it at me? It's not because you're mad at me, because you're mad that I'm telling you the fucking truth. Searching for the truth is easy, accepting the truth is hard. So when I'm telling you the truth and you get so fucking mad about it that you crumple up a pop can or a beer can and whip it at me because you're so fucking mad, what the fuck did I do to you? I didn't fucking do anything. I just told you the truth. And you're having such a hard time accepting the truth that you got so fucking mad about it that you had to throw something at me because you were so pissed off. It wasn't me that did it. Go talk to your fucking landlord about it. If you have a problem with that, if you have a problem accepting the truth, go have a little conversation with your fucking landlord. Gather all your neighbors, gather all the people in the neighborhood that call themselves these so-called homeowners, and go down to the landlord's office and see what you can work out. If you all showed up in numbers and strength, shit would work out your way, believe me. But most of you don't give a fuck about anything but beer and football, and whether you get to whether you get to rent your place for another month and not have to pack up and leave. So, searching for the truth is easy. It's right fucking there. It's always right in front of your fucking face. Accepting the truth is hard to the point where, to some people, it's impossible. They'll never see it for what it is. And with that, I'm just going to say peace out. We'll talk again.